Well, hi everyone, and welcome to Navigate Life Mindfully. This is episode number 11, Curiosity, Courage, and Compassion. I'm Ron Demonay, and my goal, as always, is to show you that we have much more control over our lives than we think we do. We are not victims. And in the process, I'm going to introduce some simple tools that we can use every day as we navigate life and make it a little bit easier. And along the way, bring about some of the changes that we really want in our life. So if this is something you want to learn more about, know more about, I hope you'll join us each week. I hope you'll please like and subscribe below to our channel and join me on this journey. So let's dive into this week's episode. What does it mean to live with curiosity, courage, and compassion? Well, for me, I believe it opens doors to a richer and more peaceful life. At least that's what I've experienced along the way. And I'm certainly not saying that I stay in that state of mind 100% of the time. I mean, we're all human. We fall out of it. We fall into bad habits that can tend to hold you back. But as I think about it more, and as I try to live this way, I find that I'm better at catching myself when I fall back into a bad habit. I can make a conscious correction quickly and get me back on the track, get me back on the course of living with curiosity, courage, and compassion. So let's look at each aspect and what it can mean in your life. Well, curiosity. I see this as the urge to learn more about whatever is in front of me, whatever is getting my attention. You know, most people, myself included, tend to be somewhat set in their ways, right? Think they know whatever they need to know about people, places, things, etc. We've all formed opinions along the way. But the truth is that being set in your ways like that keeps you trapped in the past. It limits your world. It holds you back from expanding your mind and your capabilities. When you're curious, you open the door to new worlds. And these new worlds are often filled with awe and wonder and more of the things that you truly love. And when you're curious about other people, you'll find that you probably have more in common than you have differences. You see their humanity and you can respect them as just, as someone like yourself. Someone with the same basic values and desires in life. You stop dehumanizing them. You look at them, you stop looking at them like the others. That can turn into objects of hate, something to fear. Now, when you're curious about other things like places and cultures and foods, religions, whatever it may be, you really learn that there is nothing to fear. These things are just different. That doesn't make them necessarily bad or evil or certainly not worth going to war with. I guess the greatest gift I've had in my life is in my work life, I was able to travel a lot. And so I would travel to a lot of places in the world. I was in Europe and Asia and South America a good bit. And I absolutely loved it. And the thing I loved about it the most was getting to know the people in these different cultures and being able just to sit with them. And the big thing for me was the cuisine, going out and eating. When you break bread with somebody, it just seems to break down a barrier. You can really talk. You can really get to know each other. And in the process, I got to know all these people in these different countries, speaking different languages. They had the same basic desires that I have. And they're really good people. And so, again, you stop looking at them as others. They just become somebody you can relate to. What about the next aspect? And that's courage. Well, courage is the ability to face up to and overcome fears or difficulties or hard times. It's about possessing the inner strength to move forward and act, even when there's chaos, even when there's uncertainty, even when there's adversity all around you. It's knowing that you're not a victim to the circumstances. You have the ability and the power to create what you want in your world. Courage takes you from being a victim to being a victor. It takes you to an inner knowing that you're able to handle whatever comes your way, and you're able to change things for the better. Courage helps you step out of your comfort zone, step out of your current small world and into something that's bigger, something that's more exciting, more satisfying, more fun, something more in tune with who you really are. And courage doesn't mean that you no longer experience fear. I mean, there are always going to be things happening in your life that trigger that fear response. But courage helps you navigate those situations. And it helps you navigate them with more ease. It helps you build more self-confidence. Helps you move to a better place in life. Well, now let's talk about compassion. You know, this is the one thing I believe we need much more of in the world. You know, the word compassion literally means to suffer together. If we truly understood what another person's suffering felt like, we would want to help ease their suffering in the same way we would want our suffering eased. How many of us really know what it feels like to be in a really bad situation? Who knows what it feels like to be homeless or starving or someone that's being judged as less than or being bullied by people with more financial means or power? What about being in a war zone with danger and death all around you? You're just desperate to survive another day. We just don't know how so many of these things feel. And that's why compassion is so important. It's really easy just to turn a blind eye to the hardships of other people. Just stay in our little comfort zone, our little bubble where everything is just peachy keen and safe and secure. We need to show others more compassion. You know, if we were more curious, courageous, and compassionate, the world really would be a safer, healthier, happier place for everybody. I hope you'll learn to live this way. You'll notice a positive improvement in your life right away. So now let's talk about your assignment for the coming week. So your assignment is this. I want you to write down these 3 words on a piece of paper or a Post-it note and keep it in front of you. Put it on your desk, put it on the dashboard of your car, whatever. Some place where you're going to see it often during the day. And when you see the note during the day, ask yourself, am I living my life with curiosity, courage, and compassion? If the answer is no, well, then ask yourself, what would it take for me to live this way? Contemplate that. Be mindful about it. Before long, you will be living that way. You'll be living life with more curiosity, more courage, more compassion, and life's going to feel so much better. So in our next episode, we're going to be talking about pruning. What would you like to cut back or have less of in your life? That's an interesting topic. Well, I'm going to wrap things up for now. Remember, as always, remind you of 2 little things. Actually, they're 2 big things. 2 simple things that'll make an immediate positive change in your life. Number 1 is gratitude. Just be grateful. Be grateful for whatever you have in your life, even if you have very little. Be grateful for the things you have. Remember the saying, the more grateful you are for what you have, the more you will have to be grateful for. It's not just a cutesy little saying, it's true. Be grateful. Second thing is be kind. Just show others a little bit of grace. You know, we really don't know what's going on in other people's lives. They don't know what's going on in your life. Show them some grace. Show yourself some grace. Be kind. Every day, practice random acts of kindness. Before long, you'll be doing it more and more because it's fun. It'll put a smile on your face. Remember, gratitude and kindness, two things that will immediately make you feel better. And it'll help you create more positive things in your life. Well, I'm going to say so long for now. If you have a comment or question, please visit my website, rondemonatecoaching.com, and leave me a message. Or you can send me an email directly at rondcoaching@gmail.com. Either way, I'll try my best to get back to you either personally or on the air. And again, I ask that you please like and subscribe to the channel below. I would really love to see this expand. I'd really love to reach more people if I could. So, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.